Hello, hello. Welcome back to the channel. We are going to quickly, hopefully, get through a recap of Elynis's Autumn Equinox. And as a quick recap, Elynis is a freshman. Her calling is Illusionist Rogue. She's a human, and she is from Keirah. So she has a fairly short sort of list of classes she has to take every semester, which is not a bad thing. It leaves more room for additional books to read that will fit into extra coursework, extra credit work, and I really just like that fit her personality really well. So that's the one we went with. So let's jump right in. Let me pop over. And the first bit of coursework she had to do was all three levels of Art of Illusion. She needed to do biome manipulation, smoke screen, and reverse reflections. So for biome manipulation, that was an autumnal setting, and it could be on the cover or the story. So I ended up going with the story itself, which does take place right around Halloween time. And I did talk a little bit about this, I believe, at my mid-semester update, so I won't get too much into it, but I got 3 stars for that one. And then Winter Halo is the second book in this particular series, the Outcast series. It's a trilogy. I'm finishing the last one in October. So I was saying now, but I haven't actually read it this week. I'm a bit of a mood reader, a lot of a mood reader, and I have not picked this one up, mostly because I've been super busy, and this one is one that I'm actually reading, and not audiobook reading, and so therefore I haven't had time to pick it up, but I want to. I'm halfway, well, 40 odd percent, I think it's like 42, 43% all the way through the last one, and I'm trying to get to the end because I really want to find out what happens, but haven't had time. So, um, I gave it 4 stars. I really am enjoying this series in general. It is sci-fi, but not just sci-fi. It's very much also blended with, I think we were gonna go probably paranormal or urban fantasy. Well, maybe not urban, paranormal fantasy for sure. Sort of almost post-apocalyptic, but there are still cities and um, all kinds of fun. I don't want to give too much away. There are witches, there are vampires, there are essentially wraiths. They go by a different um, name and they have a different background, but they're very similar to a wraith. There are ghosts, there's magic. It's a lot of fun, but there's definitely, I would say, science fiction very front and heavy at the front because there's a lot of fun. Like helicopters that are a little bit different, and there's bioengineering and weaponry and all kinds of fun stuff. So I am really enjoying this one. It does have some romance in it, but it isn't romance predominant. Um, and that is something that I kind of enjoy about a lot of Carrie Arthur's series is like there'll be an ongoing romance over the course of the series, but it isn't like the only thing that's there. It's very much like there is this world that you're sort of dropped into, and you're going along with the main character as they go about the things that they need to do, whether that is solving mysteries or escaping the bad guys or whatever it is. And there's usually some romance in there, but it isn't the first and foremost thing that is there. So I very much enjoy this author in general. Next up was Trial of the Sun Queen, and I very much also enjoyed this one, though I am not sure if the rest of the series is going to live up to it. I usually try to avoid spoilers, but I have heard, or at least read here and there, that maybe future books in the series aren't as good as the first one, and that would make me really sad because I really did enjoy the first one. So I'm going to ignore them and hope for the best because I do plan on finishing it, but not anytime soon. Probably not till, I don't know, maybe like as soon as I give a date, I'm going to change it because that's who I am. I'm a mood reader, and it's just going to be like, I have to read this one. And that's the one I'm going to end up reading the next week. But I just finished going through and making a like series tracker of where I'm at on all of my series, and I have a lot, and I do mean a lot of open series right now, like way too many. So let me know if you're interested in seeing that. But there are way too many, and I need to start working through them. So I'm probably going to focus on ones that I'm near the end of, so that I can get some of those off of series in general off my TBR, and go from much scrolling to maybe like all on one screen. That would be amazing. But anyways, so yes, I think that this class, it's not really a class because there are 3 classes, so this like category of classes went pretty well. The other 2 classes that Elynis needed to take were shapeshifting and psionics and divination. So for shapeshifting, it was camouflage practice, which was a genre blend. For that, I ended up choosing a book that was already on my TBR because it was a required read for a book club. So I read The Seaside Library by Brendan Novak, and I did enjoy it. For me, 3 stars is enjoyed, but would probably not read again. I did like it. It just wasn't something that I'm going to go and pick up again and again. So I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I read it. And then the Premonition Prep, which was a genre spin where I got mystery, ended up being the Thursday Murder Club, which was similarly rated. I honestly, I think these are pretty equal in my mind, but they're very different, but they are very equal in like where I would put them on a sliding scale for within that 3-star category, because I don't usually do half stars. It just, I haven't, and it would, if I start doing half stars, then it really messes up my scales, my tracking for the last couple years as I was going through, because I would all of a sudden like have data that is new and different, and now we got halves, and I could, but I think I'm gonna stick, at least for now, to whole stars only. Um, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I've been thinking about it, and I keep going back to, no, let's just stick to whole stars, and then yeah. Anyways, moving right along. So the Guild Book Club book was A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. I read this entire trilogy. I very much enjoyed it. I reread A Deadly Education so that I could get my points. And I enjoyed it. Like at 4 stars, which is really enjoyed it, would read again. I will say that the third one I did not like as much as the rest of the series, but I very much did enjoy the series as a whole, and the first 2 books were both 4 stars for me. So generally, I would suggest this one. I really liked it, and my husband read it as well. He also really liked it, and one of my little brother-in-laws, who at the time was 12, is now 13, and he also enjoyed it. The second one got him a little embarrassed, but he did like the first one quite a bit. And I don't think he's finished. He's done with the second one yet, and he hasn't read the third one. Otherwise, I'd pass along his thoughts. But I do like it. I would say, I mean, it's definitely a YA and not a middle grade, so it's a little older on some of the themes. But yeah, high school would read. I enjoyed it. My husband enjoyed it. We had lots of chit chats about the magic system and how that worked, and what we thought was going to happen in the future, and what we felt about different scenes. All kinds of fun talks based on this particular series. All right, extra credit. Extra credit, I got all three levels for Inscription. The first one was Running Mate, and 3 stars, Spinning Silver, another Naomi Novik, this one is an adult one, though not a YA, I believe. And that was 4 stars. Very much enjoyed. Was not what I expected going in when it was listed as like a fairy tale categorization. But I very much liked it, and I would read another book in the same world if one existed, but this one is a standalone, at least as far as I'm aware. If I'm wrong, let me know. And then for the 3rd level, I needed an animal on the cover, and luckily I was already reading The Library at Montchar for a book club, so I ended up picking that one, and it was really good. Very interesting story, there was a lot going on in this one. I gave it 4 stars because it kept me on the edge of my seat, and I very much enjoyed it. And I didn't get all of the twists and turns. Like, I saw that there was going to be something, but I didn't know what it was going to be, and I like that. So I gave it 4 stars. I would read again. Artificery, I read all 3 levels there. Quicksilver, I finally got around to that one. 4 stars. We'll be reading the next one in the series. And then Honey Witch, which was a book that was already on my list of needing to be read, is what I ended up going with for Portable Doors. 3 stars. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I read it, but it is probably not one that I would read again. If there was another one in the same world, I may, because I think the magic system was interesting, but I don't know that it was. It was a little bit more cozy, and I think I would have liked a little bit more. I don't know what a little more something. Um, Personally, if I was going to go back and read it again. And then the last one was another 3 star, but this one was a short story, which I don't know if that would technically counts, but it is technically its own. I bought it all by itself, or I didn't buy it. I got it though, all by itself to read, and it was John Hollowback and the Witch, and it was a. It seems like it's set in the same world as, or at least it's by the same author as another book that I was reading during that month. That for when we'll talk about that when we get to Keirah, because I read that one for Keirah's list. So I don't want to get too much into that one, but I like this one. It was short. It was just sort of talking about essentially you've got a witch, and John Hollowback goes to see her, and he's got a problem, and she is helping him to solve it, but he has to like get memories back as he goes through this process, and it opens up more and more in his memory about what actually happened during a time period that he is 100% sure he knows exactly what happened, and how we can sort of convince ourselves of a reality that we want instead of a reality that is. Hopefully that's not too much information. Spells and incantation. I did not end up getting to all 3 levels. I only got to the first level. And that was Filthy Rich Vampires, which is the second book in the series. And this one was for page numbers. I've mentioned this one before, that I kept putting it down and picking it up and putting it down and picking it up. And I don't know if I will end up reading the third one or not. I put it on my series tracker as an in progress rather than as a paused or DNF'd, because I haven't decided yet what I want to do about this one. But I both want to finish the series, and that would take 2 more books just to find out what is all going on. But at the same time, I also don't know if I want to invest the time, because I was putting this down and picking it up so much that I was a little frustrated by the time I got to the parts where it started to pick back up. I was with the character development specifically. There were some characterizations and changes that people were making, and I was just like frustrated with them in general. I was like, grr, please don't make those choices. Like, we've already done the whole third act breakup and get back together. I don't need that again. And that's where I feel like you're going. I mean, it wasn't, but like, the same type of feeling you get when it's the third act breakup and you're like, that was a stupid reason to break up. That's the kind of feeling that I was having and was making me really frustrated. I want to say like maybe 2/3 of the way through this book is when I was just like, Arr. Anyway, I finished it and ended up putting it onto this one. Then we get into the adventure board. We had several adventure boards. The first one, or adventure board sort of activities, I guess, book rewards. So the first one was an art or craft item on the cover. So I chose Knitted and Knifed, which is a nitty kitty mystery. And say that 10 times fast. 3 stars. I liked it. I will read another one to see whether I want to continue the series further. But I thought it was nice. It was cozy. It was fun. I don't know if this was actually cozy, but it was fun. Okay, next up, which this one is a little blurry. I apologize. I don't know why it looks so blurry now. But it was to essentially either have a bunny or a smile on the cover. And I chose smile, actually for both Elynis and Keirah. I chose smile because I didn't have any books on hand that had bunnies on them, and I had plenty of books with smiles, so I ended up going that route. And not so meet cute. I had put this one off thinking it was going to be a 3-star, and I was like, well, I'll get to it eventually. I really enjoyed it. Would read again. 4 stars. Key retrieval. This is one where I mentioned this on the other one, the mid-semester update, that I thought that if I had time, I was going to go back and choose one that also had a hamster on it, because you got extra points for having a hamster and a key. But I just did not have the time to get through the book that I had found that had both a hamster and a key on it, or at least the second book, because Keirah got a book that had a hamster and a key on for this prompt. But I did not find 2 of them that I was able to get through both, so I did read Key of Light, which was one I had read before, but like in college, and I was like, well, let's give it a go, see how I feel. I haven't read a Nora Roberts in a while, and I really liked the parent. I remember, or at least I really remember. Blah. I remember really enjoying the ones with a paranormal twist more than just the standard romances, even back then. So picked this one up. There were things I forgot, so it was a nice sort of chill, relaxing, um, feel good kind of book for me, because it had some memories. Goodness gracious, it's been a long day. Memories from college. Anyway, so this one just got me 10 points for key on the cover, because this one right there. And then fresh from the press, I needed to pick the last book I added to my TBR. And you'll see this one here and on Keirah. They were both really short books because I was going through looking for some specific prompts. And this one actually is about a little boy who, I don't know if it ever says that he is autistic, but it definitely has encoded as autistic, if nothing else. And um, that was why that one got added for me, because I was looking at other books about people or by people who are autistic, like myself, and I wanted to get some books added to my TBR, and I ended up finding out that this one was available at my library, so it ended up getting added to my TBR. Anyways, it was good. 3 stars. It is just a middle grade book. Well, is it even middle grade? It may even be technically elementary. It just, yeah, it was a good book. I just, the age range wasn't one that I usually read a lot of, and it's probably not something I would read again. But I would read another one in the series if, if I had time and it fit into a prompt. I would do that. All right, and then we get into other things. I already talked about those ones, so we'll stop there, and I will chat with you guys next time. Bye.